Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down one of the most legendary one-on-one duels in history, Ali versus Amr. It's an incredible story of how one man's faith and courage in a single moment could turn the tide of an entire war and save his community from being completely wiped out.
So to really get the weight of this duel, you have to understand the impossible situation that led to it. We're talking about a siege that should have been a slaughter, and a final decisive blow aimed right at a brand new faith. Picture this. It's the year 627 AD, and a massive Confederate army, almost 10,000 warriors strong, is marching on the city of Medina. They have one single goal: to totally annihilate the young Muslim community. This wasn't just a battle. It was meant to be a war of extinction.
Now, the defenders were in a really tough spot, outnumbered more than 3-1. Facing a force like that, they knew they couldn't win a conventional fight. They needed something different, something totally unexpected that would change the rules of the game. And that led to an ingenious defensive strategy, something brand new to Arabian warfare.
What they do? They dug a massive trench. This incredible piece of engineering, which they managed to finish in just 6 days of non-stop work, brought the entire invading army to a confused and grinding halt. It created this tense deadlock that just dragged on for weeks, turning what should have been a quick victory into a really frustrating siege. So as the siege wore on, you can imagine patience was wearing pretty thin. Frustrated with this stalemate, the enemy's greatest and most feared champion decides enough is enough. It's time to take matters into his own hands and force a fight. And this is where we meet Amr Bin Marhabbattle. He was brought to the battle by the Confederate leader Abu Sufyan. And look, Amr wasn't just some soldier. He was considered the greatest warrior of his time. His reputation for pure ferocity and skill was so legendary that even the most seasoned fighters were terrified of him. They said he was equal to 1,000 men. So Amr, he finds a narrow part of the trench, spurs his horse, and makes this incredible leap across, landing right between the two armies. And then he starts taunting the defenders, mocking their faith, and challenging any one of them to a duel. His challenge just hangs there in the air, a direct attack on their morale.
You could have heard a pin drop. A heavy silence falls over the Muslim defenders. Everybody knew Amr's reputation. But as the taunts kept coming, a lone figure, only 23 years old, stands up to accept the challenge, totally ready to face this giant. That volunteer, it was Hazrat Ali. But because he was so young and Amr was so feared, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, told him to sit down. Not once, but twice. Still, Ali's conviction didn't shake. He stood up a third time, and his sheer persistence was finally rewarded. He got permission to fight.
Now, this is what's really interesting. Before Ali goes out to face Amr, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, gifts him his own special sword, Zulfikar. And this wasn't just a weapon, it was a huge symbol of trust, a profound blessing, and a sign of immense faith in this young champion.
So the stage was set, and the exchange that happened before a single blow was even struck perfectly captures the two forces that were about to collide: the arrogance of pure physical power versus the quiet confidence of unwavering faith.
On one side, you have this giant, Amr bin Marhabbattle, literally encased in iron from head to toe, the very picture of martial might. And on the other, the young challenger, Ali, armed with not much more than a shield and that legendary blade. Amr just looks at his young opponent and dismisses him, basically tells him to go back because he has no desire to kill a child. But Ali's response was immediate, and it was sharp. He shot back that while Amr might not want to kill him, he had come for the specific purpose of killing Amr, identifying himself with the powerful name his mother gave him, Haidar, which means the lion. The combat itself was as swift as it was brutal. Amr, furious, attacked first with tremendous force. His sword came crashing down, split Ali's shield completely in two, and even wounded him on the neck. But Ali, who is known as Karar, the one who attacks repeatedly, was ready with a counterattack that would go down in legend.
Ali's strike with Zulfikar, it was this one single fluid motion of just incredible power. It sliced right through Amr's shield, shattered his iron helmet, cut through his iron armor, and cleaved his entire body in two. Historians actually note that a strike of that kind of power had never, ever been recorded in history.
So let's get to the aftermath and see how this one action, this single moment of combat, completely changed the course of the entire battle and basically broke the siege.
Okay, so the crucial point here is it took just one strike, one decisive blow to take down the enemy's greatest champion, the man they thought was invincible, the warrior who was supposedly equal to 1,000.
The psychological impact was immediate, and it was catastrophic. I mean, seeing their seemingly unstoppable hero fall in a single strike, it caused a complete and total breakdown of morale. A wave of despair just washed over that entire army, shattering their will to fight.
But this wasn't a cry of personal glory. In his moment of victory, Ali's declaration wasn't about his own strength. Instead, he identifies himself as a slave of the Lord of Muhammad, making it absolutely clear where he believed his power came from.
That single act of bravery did way more than just win a duel. It turned the tide of the entire siege, and it has resonated through the centuries. It became a primary source of inspiration for what it means to show courage and have faith, especially when you're facing impossible odds.
And all this really leaves us with a final thought. Was Amr's defeat just a failure of physical power? Or was Ali's victory a testament to a totally different kind of strength? One that doesn't come from iron and muscle, but from the conviction and absolute belief behind the sword.